All right, what's going on, guys? Happy New Year, and thank you guys to probably the best year I've ever had on YouTube. Probably 2020 was probably the best year because I guess I actually tried to, actually have a consistent schedule for the most part, except for a little this this end of the year, but yeah, I want to thank you guys and we're gonna be it's the end of the year, so we're gonna be starting off with the top five best games, then go to top five disappointing, and then go to top five most anticipated games. I was going to make a top five worst list, but I didn't really play that many games like that were bad per se, in my opinion. I feel like more were just disappointing this year than anything, so I'm not gonna really make that list because there'd only be like two games. So yeah. Also, I want to say before we start, this is my opinion, and there will be spoilers, obviously, because I can't really talk about all these games without talking about the story and everything. So yeah, let's jump right into it. Okay, so Mafia, the definitive edition. Now, I never played the original Mafia when I was however old, and I think Mafia came out the first Mafia came out when I was like a kid. So it has been a while, and getting this, I was hesitant on getting this because Mafia 3, I feel like Mafia 3 was had, you know, a good story, but the gameplay was really repetitive. But dude, when I got this game, I was like, holy shit. The story in this game is incredible. Mafia Definitive Edition has probably a better story than Mafia 3, with you got the main characters intriguing, all the other characters are intriguing, and it teaches you a lesson about, the life as a mobster and everything like that. And I like how, you know, like the story, it didn't get they didn't just get a good happy ending because, that's what you want, but it teaches you a lesson about the mob life and everything like that. I really love the story. The characters were amazing in that game. Um, it is at number five though because I feel like while the story, the characters, and the world's really good. Like the whole world building is amazing. The city looks amazing, but the only thing I would say is the gameplay is kind of just recycled from Mafia 3 with kind of less animation, so it's not that great. Um, and it's not that amazing. I feel like the gameplay's serviceable at best, and it really just doesn't, it's not as good as I would like it to be. And there's only about like a couple weapons in the game, not too many weapons. Also, the world is pretty much there for just aesthetic purposes. To be honest with you, you can't really do that much in the world, which kind of makes me mad, except for if you free ride or whatever. But still, there's not too much to do. There's a little bit, but not too much. That's the only thing I wish they would have done. The gameplay would have been a little bit better, and there would have been more to the open world because I just feel like there wasn't really too much to do. But other than that, this is an amazing, story game. I am honestly, if you guys know me, I'm all about stories, and that's my favorite part of a game is a story. So when a game has a good enough story, I can look past the gameplay being average and everything like that. So yeah, this is why it lands on my number five. Not even to say that the gameplay is even bad. It's not bad, but it's just serviceable. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. Moving on to number four. So Final Fantasy VII was a surprise to me because I am nowhere near a Final Fantasy fan. I I was like, I think I've tried to play maybe one of the Final Fantasies and I got bored and I was like, fuck this. But I saw Final Fantasy VII and I'm like, okay, people talk about this one. They're obviously remaking it because a lot of people love it. I'm like, let me start off, and I've heard that people say that you do not need to play every Final Fantasy to understand the story. So I'm like, okay, let me get through this. Let me do this. Let me buy this game, and I'm very glad that I did. Um, Final Fantasy, I feel like the story was really, really good. I really like the characters. Some of the characters are really so good for this game. Honestly, I love Tifa, Barrett, um, Cloud. Also, the magic and sword combat are really cool. Maybe it can get a little repetitive, but it's really cool that you can just basically play as Tifa and Cloud and all of them, and just literally just play as all those characters. So that's how it kind of keeps it fresh. The level design is really cool too because it's kind of open linear, so it lets you go to this, you know, like open kind of like worldish like town, like it's open ended, and you can just kind of explore how you want to. I think that's really cool. It is still linear, but that's really cool. I honestly can't wait for the sequel, and that's surprising to me because I'm not a Final Fantasy fan, like I said. So I'm like, damn, I'm actually excited for a Final Fantasy. No way, but I think I will give the other Final Fantasies a try after this one. I think I might play 15 or something like that. But yeah, if I had to say one thing about this, I feel like the story can be kind of be confusing if you're not a Final Fantasy fan, obviously. But that's kind of the same with all the Final Fantasies, I guess. So this is it kind of was confusing for me at points with like Sephiroth and shit like that, and Cloud and all that. But maybe it'll get explained in the later sequels. But I don't know. Hopefully it does. But yeah, so that's what I have to say about Final Fantasy. Okay, so moving on to Miles Morales. Miles Morales was a game I was looking forward to. And coming off of Spider-Man PS4, I was like, well, can they really do the same thing twice? Because Insomniac really is not the best with their like spin-off games or whatever. Like Ratchet and Clank, the spin-off games, I don't think were, some of them were pretty good, and then some of them were just kind of bad. So I didn't know what to expect really, but I'm glad that it worked out, and Miles was a really good game. Um, the gameplay is amazing for Miles. It's really good. Probably the best Spider-Man gameplay we've ever had. He's got really unique abilities and stuff like that. The story is good, even though I do have a couple problems with the story beats here and there. And most of the, what you get to do in the city is very good. You get to do a lot of stuff. The characters are good, except for a few of them I kind of didn't care for, but other than that, yeah, it's really good. The gameplay is, like I said, probably the best Spider-Man gameplay we've ever gotten. The only thing I would fix with this is maybe the story, but it's not like the story was bad. The story was still good. It just wasn't Spider-Man PS4 level or the level I kind of hoped it would be, but it is still really good. And it is kind of short as well. I feel like that would have fleshed out everything a little bit more if it was a little bit longer. But as a spin-off game, it's really good and the best, pretty much the second best Spider-Man game. So next is Doom Eternal. So Doom Eternal, the gameplay is amazing. The level design is amazing. The enemy design is amazing. There's so much shit to do. This shit is so frantic and fast-paced, and I love it. And this shit's good as fuck. So you got a bunch of like monsters to kill, and the gameplay is really, 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 really good. The guns are amazing. All the guns you can get, all the glory kills you can get, all the shit you get to fucking mess with. The sword, the fire, the grenades, all the other guns, the BFG, everything, bro. That shit is so good because it just creates like a frantic, just amazing gameplay. The story is also good in Doom Eternal. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, it's a Doom Eternal. You don't really go to a Doom game expecting a story, but I mean, it's pretty good for what it is. But this game really shines with the gameplay. Like the gameplay is like some of the best gameplay I've ever seen. It's so like refined and polished and fun as fuck, to be honest. Even though I'm probably not that good at it, I don't even know where the enemies are hitting me half the time, to fucking be honest. But yeah, also the multiplayer is fun, but it only has one mode, but it's still really fucking fun. You guys should play it. I had so much fun with this game. I need to, collecting all the shit and everything like that, and even the multiplayer, it was pretty fun too as well. So yeah, even though the multiplayer, there can be some tryhards, but anyways, yeah. And playing as the demons in the multiplayer is really fun as well too. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and that is my second best game of the year. So, my first best game of the year, my favorite game of this year, 2020, is The Last of Us 2. Psych. You thought. There's no way that fucking game is my favorite game of the year. Hell no. My real game of the year is Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is, in my opinion, a near perfect game. I swear I have no problems with it. Um, it is so amazing. The story is fucking amazing. One of the best stories Sucker Punch has ever made, and one of the best stories I've ever seen, to be honest. The gameplay is one of the best things I've ever seen as well. The gameplay is really good. It makes you feel like a samurai. You get all those different stances. You get all those different abilities. You get all those different armors. You get all that shit to do. The open world in this game is beautiful, dude. This is probably the most beautiful game I've ever seen. Like, it is so amazing. It captures like the Japanese art so well, and it is such a good game. I can't even think. Like, I'm literally trying to think right now, bro. If I had to give this game any of problems, if I had to give this game a downside or a con, I literally can't even think of many. It would be nitpicks. Nitpick. The only thing that I can think of is maybe I think Kono Khan, his boss fight wasn't as much as as good as it was hyped up to be. Fell a little short in my opinion, but that's a nitpick. That's my opinion. And that's like one little segment of the game. And maybe the win waypoint system isn't as good as I would want it to be, and it's kind of aggravating. But I prefer traditional just waypoint systems. But other than that, literally this game is perfect. I swear to you. I have no other problems with this game. I enjoy playing this game. I literally played this game for like 10 hours a day whenever I beat it. Like, this game is so good. It has so much to do. The open world is amazing. Jin is probably one of my favorite main characters of any video game. Any video game ever. I just think his development is amazing. I think this whole game is amazing. This is one of the best games I think I have ever played. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a really good game, and I could see anybody. I would recommend this game to anybody, because it's literally that good. But yeah, that's not even including the multiplayer as well that they added. Multiplayer is fun as well too, and I think it's really good for what it is. Even though the game wasn't even supposed to have or I guess it was supposed to have multiplayer, but it didn't add it till later, so I didn't really count that as part of the game. But it's really good. Like, I honestly, if somebody came up to me and said Ghost of Tsushima is a perfect game or 10 out of 10, I honestly wouldn't even disagree, because it's just that good. Like, I don't even know. Like, this is one of the best stories I've ever seen. Like, I don't know. Like, that, I think this is so amazing. But yeah. So that's my first list of the year, which is that. Next, you should see my top 5 disappointing list, which I'm sure you will be glad to see. So stick around, like this video, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.